So, it's June, school is out, and so are pride flags, along with some corporate performative allyship and a wave of angry Christians that are convinced that drag queens are more threatening to our kids than the pastors that have been exposed for sexual misconduct and child pornography. Based on how guns are treated, I guess your child growing up gay is worse than your child not growing up at all. But they take that up with the parents in Uvalde. They're pushing an agenda, and you don't want to give kids free school meals, enough school funding to have supplies, or the curriculum to grow them in the 21st century, but you care about the kids. I suppose Joe Jackson also cared about his kids. Given all the actual injustice that exists in America, you would think people could find better things to be angry about, but instead of the cost of living being a problem, a former president's felony convictions are. A man who has never been known for his integrity or high character has unsurprisingly been convicted of misconduct, 34 counts to be exact. But apparently, as a former high-ranking official, he shouldn't have to go through this because this means other officials could be held accountable. Yeah, citizens of the greatest country of the world are scared of their leaders being held accountable. Tells you a lot, doesn't it? Maybe the massive global instability this country is responsible for could be a bit better if leaders actually had to be responsible. Donald's in the news again, and people are like, well, this isn't right again. This sounds like what we should be teaching elementary school kids, but liking someone doesn't mean they can't get in trouble. If you're willing to overlook literal crime in the name of Christian values, which God do you actually worship? A lot of Americans worship politics now, and in the next few months, friendships and relationships will be sacrificed at the altar of the election. It's that time again. 4 years of leadership will be seemingly granted to one of two poorly deserving candidates. And if choosing the lesser of two evils wasn't hard enough, we now have AI to deal with. Unlike the 2001 Lakers, we are not at all ready to deal with AI's abilities. This whole election season is at the mercy of a technology that is changing internet literacy as we know it. You thought election fraud claims were bad last time? That might be an appetizer to this year's main dish. It's that time again for people to vote, and for millions on both sides to be disappointed when they realize more people don't think like they do. It's summertime again, which means millions of kids now go back to food insecurity because school is done for the summer. It's hard to hear the growls of their stomachs over the growls of the rabid, feral protectors of our current economic system, who seem more interested in the prosperity of big business than the prosperity of their neighbors. Who knew a multi-billionaire paying taxes was so controversial? It's amazing the lengths people go to protect other people who don't need their help, more concerned about other people's pockets than their own. What are the actual chances of you ever being able to benefit from the tax cuts that you argue so intensely for Jeff Bezos? It's his hard-earned money. Goodness, all that third world exploitation must really wear those billionaires out. I can only imagine how sore their hands are from all that money that they count that allows them to get full nights of sleep, pay their bills comfortably, and basically vacation wherever and whenever they want. Yeah, they need to keep every dime, just tax you and your blue and white collar neighbors to make up the difference. It's that time again. It's time to put aside our differences for the Olympics and just celebrate our athletes. It's time to put politics aside and just focus on sports. It's time to celebrate what brings us together, not what separates us. However, what is the definition of together? Being in the same physical location? Liking the same sport? I don't know if you would say mortal enemies are together even if they're fans of the same team sitting next to each other. There's a lot that should bring us together, but some people are more interested in funding the separation of families at the border than the connection of children at public school. Who would have thought that invisible borders could be so powerful? How together can you feel at a global event when there are representatives of other countries responsible for destroying your home and people? How can you put aside those differences when those differences put your life in danger? But do the demonstration somewhere else. How about you demonstrate some humanity? Don't be so fragile that you break when someone else points out your privilege. And don't try making it the oppression Olympics either. You'll never get a gold medal chasing silver linings. It's that time again where we realize that the Gulf of Mexico isn't the hottest or largest Gulf in the US, and that the San Andreas Fault isn't the biggest fault in the foundation of our country. Look around you. Are you living in reality or an echo chamber? Are you more interested in living in spite of differences or with spite about differences? Check the clock, because when it hits midnight, the fairy tale is over, and that shoe might not fit you in the morning.